How's it going out there, YouTubers? Cyberneticshark here with another new movie review for you guys. So let's go right into this movie review and see what I ended up checking out. So welcome to an all-new movie review, folks out there in YouTube land and all subsequent social media lands. Welcome. So the movie I'll be talking about is Pixar's latest outing, and is their first original in their new slate of original material films. And this film was, we've been seeing trailers for it since, beginning of last year, and this movie just looked so awesome. I couldn't wait to see it, and I was not surprised at how good it was. Another great success from the awesome Pixar people. And then, of course, the film I'm talking about is Disney Pixar's Onward! Oh yeah! So Onward, which is a great film, really fun, really awesome, and just is really well done, is just an amazing new Pixar film that, brings you back to the land of, mythical creatures and stuff like that. Very similar to how Shrek is, and just, it was a lot more original, really fun, and an interesting idea. Now, this film is none other directed by Mr. Dan Scallion. Oh yeah. So Dan Scallion, you might recognize as the director of a few newer films. You also might recognize him as a storyboard artist for a lot of films as well, too. But he really has only directed 2 feature films now. Now, the first feature film he directed was a huge success and another Disney masterpiece that was a kind of a prequel to one of Pixar's other awesome Disney films. And that, of course, is the film called Monsters University. Oh yeah! So he directed, this was his directorial debut. And Monsters University is just a great prequel. We get to see how Sully and Mike become friends, and basically, that makes them come together, and what makes them as the best scaring team in Monsters University, or Monsters Inc., I should say. And basically, we get to see Mike grow up a little bit and go to, college, and that's where they meet at Monsters University, which is their college, and all kinds of cool stuff. And Dan Scallion just did a really great job of bringing to life this film. I think he did just as good of a job as they did with the first Monsters Inc. film, and I thought he brought a lot more great comedy to the film, and just was a really, directed it very well, and has a really great grasp on directing, feature films too as well from all of his experience. Now, like I said, he's only directed 2 films, this and Onward, but he was a storyboard artist on a couple other Disney films over the years, such as Little Mermaid 2. He was a storyboard artist on. He was also a storyboard artist on 101 Dalmatians 2, and also Tarzan 2 as well. But other than that, he really hasn't directed anything except for Monsters University. But I feel with Onward, he brought once again a great story and a great, new take and new, franchise that they could go with for Pixar. And he just did a really fantastic job of giving us this really classic film, a really well done film that just had a lot of great heart, a lot of great story to it, and just was a really well-rounded film. And I thought that he did a great job of directing it and giving us a really fun film. Now, this film has a really awesome voice cast. And, this voice cast, consists of some great comedians, some great action stars, some great Marvel actors, and just a really awesome cast that, really brought to life these characters. Now, to start off this awesome cast, we have none other than Star-Lord himself, Mr. Chris Pratt! Oh yeah! So you might recognize him, of course, from the 2 Jurassic World films. You might recognize him from Parks and Rec. And, you might have seen him in a few other things over the years that he's, been in and so forth. But a couple films I really enjoyed that Chris Pratt has done, of course, is the awesome Marvel film. An amazing, first outing for this awesome cast of, awesomeness of, these galactic superheroes. And that, of course, is a film called Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh yeah! So Chris Pratt plays Star-Lord, of course, like I mentioned before, and he was born to be Star-Lord. He was awesome, perfect for the character. He really embodies the character from the comic books, and he just really did a great job of portraying that in the first 2 films, and also in Avengers Infinity War, and the brief part he had in Avengers Endgame. And he just did a really fantastic job, gave us this really amazing performance, and is just always, I will feel, he is Star-Lord now because of how well he brought to life that character. Now, the second thing I like to talk about that he was in, or second movie I should say, was an awesome film that came out at the end of 2016, and I think it's a really awesome sci-fi film that didn't get enough credit for how interesting of a film it was. And kind of the whole idea behind it, I feel, was kind of an interesting, kind of sci-fi epic, thought that, if the world ended up, dying, basically, the Earth not being usable, we have to go find another planet. What would some of the population do to get to a new planet? And that's pretty much what this film was about. And then, of course, the film called Passengers. Oh yeah, starring the gorgeous and amazing Jennifer Lawrence. This movie, like I said, I thought Chris Pratt was really awesome, and it was nice to see him kind of in a different role than his Owen Grady character and also Star-Lord character, Peter Quill. And it was funny to see him kind of in a more of a romantic sci-fi action type of flick. And he still had a little humor to him in the film, but he had a lot of serious parts in the film, and I thought he did a really great job with that. And I think it showed how great of an acting talent he is, and just how well he can adapt to a film. And I thought he did a really great job in that film, and I thought it was a really fun film as well. But when it comes to his voiceover for Onward, I absolutely love his character. He was awesome. He was hilarious. He really brought to life the character, and he made you love him and want to be his friend. And you felt his emotion and his interactions with his brother in the film. And I just thought he did a really fantastic job of voicing the character and bringing him to life. And really, I felt that Chris Pratt really was Tom Holland's brother in this film. It was a really great voiceover performance and very enjoyable. That brings me to the next actor I like to talk about. And that, of course, is the kid that portrays the voice of the younger brother of Chris Pratt in the film. And that, of course, is the amazing Tom Holland! Oh, yeah! So we all know Tom Holland from a few different films over the years. We know him as Spider-Man, of course, in the MCU. We also recognize him as, one of the characters in the Heart of the Sea, and so forth. But a couple of films I really enjoyed Tom Holland in, and of course one of them, you're already gonna know what it is. But it's just a really fun film, a really great film series that I thought he did really fantastic in. And that, of course, is the awesome film Spider-Man: Far From Home. Oh yeah! So MCU's second Spider-Man film, which brings back Tom Holland as the awesome Spider-Man and introduced us for the first time on the big screen to Mr. Mysterio. Now, in this film, I just thought that Tom really showed a lot of growth from his last film, Spider-Man Homecoming, and how much he's changed, and since Tony Stark's death, and how much he's, matured, and how he's trying to take on to being the next Iron Man and so forth, and just his interactions with everyone, and how much he's matured, and how different he is. And I just thought that Tom did a really great job of portraying that very well, adapting to the character very well, and giving us just a really great, further incarnation of Spider-Man versus, Tobey Maguire's and Andrew Garfield's versions. And just giving us this really great performance that I thought was really well done and really played out. Now, the second film Tom Holland was in that I really enjoyed is a cartoon movie that he also lent his voice to that just recently got released on Blu-ray, 4K, and DVD, and is an awesome, amazing CGI film put out by Blue Studios. And then, of course, a film called Spies in Disguise! Oh, yeah! So Spies in Disguise is just a really awesome animated film by Blue Skies. And Will Smith does one of the voices of the character that Tom Holland interacts with. And they just played off each other very well and made a really fun film. And it was nice seeing Tom Holland just playing like a normal kid again. Kind of adult version kid, kind of, young teenage kid. And his voice was perfect for the character and really brought that main character to life and made him such a great kind of like nerdy dweeb type of character. That was very smart, though, at the same time. Kind of similar to how, Peter Parker is very smart, but at the same time, he's kind of nerdy as well too, and I thought that that played very well together, and that Tom Holland was perfect for that, and really bringing to life that character. And I just thought it was a really fun film. I really enjoyed seeing it in the theaters, laughed my butt off, and I thought it was just a really well-rounded CGI animated film as well. If you haven't seen Spies Disguise yet, definitely check it out for Tom Holland and Will Smith's performances. They were fantastic in it. Now, it comes to Tom Holland in Onward. I thought he did a really good job of playing the younger brother, because he really brought a lot of great passion to the character. He, that angst of a young 16-year-old kid to life type of deal. I thought he did, really well with that. And him having to deal with the fact he never met his father before he passed, and just all that kind of stuff, and how, his older brother's always been there, and he taught him everything, and how they interact. I thought Tom did a really good job of bringing that all to life, and showing that adaptation process throughout the film. And he just did a really fantastic, amazing job with the role, and I really enjoyed him. Can't wait to watch it again for his voiceover, because it was just so much fun, and I loved listening to him talk in the film. So that brings me to the next actor that was a part of this awesome voice cast. And that, of course, is Miss Elaine herself from Seinfeld, Miss Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Oh, yeah! So Julia Louis-Dreyfus, of course, as you know, is Elaine from Seinfeld, has been in a slew of things over the last 30-plus years, and is just a really awesome comedian and just really amazing actress. Now, a couple of things I really enjoyed her in, of course, is the first film I'd like to talk about is an awesome Christmas movie that came out in 1989, and is it's actually the third film in an awesome series made by National Lampoon. And that, of course, is a film called National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation! Oh, yeah! So this awesome film, which stars, Chevy Chase, Johnny Galecki, Beverly D'Angelo, and so forth, stars Julia Louis-Dreyfus as their neighbor, who keeps having these unfortunate accidents happen because of the Griswolds. And she just was, so freaking funny in that role, because it was one of her first type of roles, kind of before she got on Seinfeld, and she just was, so on point and so, uppity and stuff like that. She just was so funny in that role, and I just really enjoyed her performance in it. I thought that she did a great job and showed her comedic chops, at such a great, in a great movie as well. If you haven't seen Christmas Vacation, definitely check out, people. It's worth a watch for her performance. So that brings me to the second film or TV series I like to talk about that Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in. Now, this series just finally ended, and is an amazing series that HBO put out, that she played an amazing freaking character that, is just on top, very similar to Curb Your Enthusiasm, similar to Seinfeld, that just was on point. Every line was perfect and so freaking funny. And then, of course, is the show that was on HBO called Veep. Oh yeah, Veep. Such a great show. She was so perfect in that role. She was just on point, so funny, so stinking hilarious, so many great one-liners. Interacted so well with everyone that was involved, between Tony Hale, Anna Klumsky, everyone that was in the show, and she just was that character in that show, and was the perfect role for her. And it was so fun to see her in that show. It was so sad to see the series end finally, but still, it was such a great performance by her, and just a great all-around role. If you haven't seen her in Veep yet, definitely check it out. One of her best things to date ever. She was so amazing in it. Definitely check it out. It's worth the watch. Now, it comes to her voiceover as the mom of the two characters in the film, of Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. I thought she did a fun job. Every time I heard her speak, I totally pictured her kind of giving the speech and stuff like that. At the same time, I thought she brought some great humor, some great love, and some great characterizations to the character, and just brought to life this great, mom that just wants the best for her kids. And I thought that she brought that to life very well, and it was a great performance, and just a really well-over voice role. And it was fun to see her in something else, in recent years with, her whole cancer battle that she was dealing with. It was nice to see her doing some other stuff and giving us this awesome voice role that I thought was really fun, and a great addition to that awesome film. Now, an honorable mention, another voice in the film, was the awesome and amazing funny Octavia Spencer, who just is always funny in everything I see her in. She's so fantastic at comedy. She's so good at thrillers. She's so good at acting in anything. And she actually plays another kind of character that has some kind of bigger lines and has a bigger part in the film. And I just thought that she was really funny and hilarious, and a great mention, I thought, for the film as well. And just did, she also did a really great job too. Now, if you're not familiar with what Onward's about, basically it's about these two brothers. One is just turning 16, and on his 16th birthday, he's considered an adult. And his mom lets him know that before their father died, he left them this wizard staff and a message. And the message basically was a spell that would be able to bring him back for one whole day so that they can meet him. And basically what the rest of the movie is about them trying to get this stone so that they can bring their dad fully back, because unfortunately when they try to first do the spell, it only brings half of him back, just his lower half. So the rest of the film is about them trying to find another dragon stone and to be able to see their dad, and kind of their adventure and how they learn that even though they don't get to see their dad fully, they understand that at least they've had each other and they've been each other's like kind of father dynamic the whole time. It's just a really fantastically done original story. Great film. Highly recommend it. Giant 10 golden movie boxes up on it, people. If you haven't seen Onward yet, definitely go check it out now in theaters. Such a fantastic film. So that's it for this movie review, guys. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for liking. And also, thank you for subscribing. And if this is your first time here, or you have been here before, what are you waiting for? For me to magic spell you to hit the subscribe button? Go ahead, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss this video or any of the awesome videos I put up. And as always, people, keep your eyes out for any older, newer videos you might not have seen yet. And as always, people, check out the awesome horror pack. If you're interested in the horror pack, you can learn more about it down in that link down below. And also, you get a discount on your first month if you're a new-time subscriber with that code downstairs. So definitely check that out, people. It's worth it if you're a huge horror fan. And as always, people, catch you in the next one.